Fuck, now I can't remember how to get this going. Hold on. All right, so I'm gonna put a link down here in TS again. Click on it and tell me what you see. Let me know when you got it up.
YouTube channel.
Yeah.
This video is unavailable.
Oh, hold on. Let me know when you got it up.
YouTube channel.
Yeah. Okay, so there's a bit of a delay, okay? All right, click this one.
Yep, go for it. I see it.
All right, cool. All right, so there's going to be a delay. I hear you.
Shame this shit's so expensive.
It is. It is. There's going to be a delay. I can hear you, but I'm not going to do the push to talk because you're going to hear it like
I'd probably
3
be
times.
more keen of getting into it. It wasn't $40 a plane.
Well, we'll get you like a cheaper one at first, right? We already talked about this. We'll get you in like the F-15 or some shit because we can play that way. All right, so you have instant action, create fast mission, mission campaign, multiplayer. For this example, I'm going to use mission editor. If you have a question at any point in time, just go ahead and say it, and I think it's going to take like 30 seconds for it to my response to show up on your screen. Okay, so this is weird. Caucus. Oh, there it is. All right, Caucus tried to take a shit on me there for a second. So basically, what I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to set it up for me to fly real quick. Get my settings the way I like them. That way you can see it and understand what's going on. Um, okay, so the Harrier that I'm going to use, you have to attach the gun pod. It doesn't. That plane doesn't come with a gun built into it. The Lightning is your TGP, your target ground something another. Basically, it's your infrared laser guided camera that you're targeting ground things with or ground targets with. So I'm going to go over that. I have to save this real quick before I get into it. And you don't have to buy every plane. Honestly, me and Sixgun most of the time we up F-15s. It's only when we are like playing by ourselves do we take the more advanced planes because it's hard to stay together because it like the A-10 legitimately takes 10 minutes to crank up. So shit, I gotta exit out of this. Hold on, I fucked something up. My bad. It legitimately takes like 10 minutes to crank up. So if you get shot down, you're pretty much just fucking stuck until you can crank it back up. So, and like I said, the F-15 is like $10. You'll hear me do my voice attack so that you'll see everything that I wound up uh, keying over to it because it's just so fucking. There's just too many fucking keys. Canopy. What I'm doing right now is I'm manually starting the Harrier because the Harrier is a lot of these planes are produced by third-party companies, not DCS. The Harrier doesn't have a cheat auto start yet. It's still a work in progress. So for right now, you still have to start it manually. But it's actually not that hard. Warning. The Harrier is going to crank up. You're going to see RPMs when it gets to 92. I take it off of throttle 0 setting. It's a completely different setting for some reason. And it'll finish cranking up the whole way. You'll hear it spool up. I hope this isn't too loud. Now I'm going to go ahead and crank up my HUD and my left MFD, right MFD. Set my nav on my HUD. Turn my FLIR on. with the Harrier, because it's a vertical takeoff bird, if you want, the flaps are pretty automatic. Cruise is when you're at altitude, high altitude is just blowing. Autos when you're fighting, and STOL stands for short takeoff or landing. It enables you to take off in an incredibly short amount of space and time. So I'm gonna go flaps down, flaps down. See it flip down. When you're on the deck, if you want to rearm. Oh, by the way, this right here, this is your UHF. It's your radio system. If I want to rearm, I go through the / key radio comms button. But I have that set to auto attack too, so I just go ground crew, boom, and it brings it up. You right click on it, the different types of bombs, the fuel tanks. These are Mavericks. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and put some Mavericks on so I can show you these real quick. You have to learn the different types of weapons. The D is a infrared Maverick small warhead. G is infrared large warhead. H TV monitor sight, small. K TV monitor sight, big warhead. For simplicity, I'll go with the G's. I'm gonna click OK.
Request rearming. Copy.
You hear that copy, you know it's gonna go ahead and rearm for you. Outside. Like with the Harrier, this knob right here controls your thrusters and the angle of them so that you can take off. I'll show you that. I got it set to a finger stick so that I can control it just like this without actually having to touch it.
Rearming complete.
Outside. So brakes are very important on here because the only way you can, oh shit, I forgot. Parking brake, parking off. Cool. Turn my parking brake off on it. On the ground, the easiest way to fuck up your plane is run it into the grass, because these things can apparently do 800 miles an hour, but if you get that nose wheel stuck on the grass, yeah, you're fucked. You might as well start over. So, gotta have those brakes. So if you remember, we set our flaps to short takeoff or landing. So I'm gonna, if you look right here, this is the speed of the plane. About the time it hits 100, I'm gonna pull my thrusters back to about 40%. Or 45, and it's going to start to lift off, and then I'm going to slowly rock it down to get my speed up. Alright, so when you take off, hold on a second. This is your RWR, this is your radar. So ECW is the radar in the plane. It's going to tell you where enemies pop up. Stows, this over here is your weapons. We can get to that later on. You go full brake, full throttle. Hear it spool up. When it kicks, let off the brake and roll. Alright, so I'm rolling. I'm at 100. I go up, pull up on the stick. Start rocking it back and forth. Landing gear. Outside. Landing gear. Flaps up. Boom. I'm airborne. Okay. And this is the Harrier from start to finish on a takeoff. Alright. The Harrier doesn't have autopilot yet. They're still working on that too. On the left, MFD safe because my master arm's off. So I turn my master arm on. It goes to arm. Let me trim the bird on him. Flaps up. Alright. IRMV stands for Infrared Moving Vehicle Targeting. Okay. Click it. It goes to standby. Whenever that says ready, the Mavericks are warmed up and they can track. Okay. So there's nothing over here. Go back to menu. You can see your TGP. TGP is still cranking up right now. Go to CDC standby mode. Not ready. I have to wait for this to say ready. Arm at marker. The fire button fires your laser for laser guided bombs. Alright. Basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to circle around back to the airport we just took off from. And I'm going to shoot something on the ground. I know there's at least a truck there so you can see. I'm talking about your HUD. Speed, bearing, altitude. I've selected my 2 Mavericks. Obviously your angles of attack and all that. Let's see. Still standby, still not ready. Alright, there we go. I think this thing takes like 3 minutes too. The Mavericks take about 3 minutes too, so it's still in standby mode. Okay, when your Mavericks are caged, which they are by default, the screen on the front that I just showed you isn't going to track anything because it's like you caged the dog, right? Whenever you uncage them, it enables you to track, so you have to have a button assigned to uncage. Whenever I go to uncage, you'll see a U pop up right here. Map. Cockpit. Alright, there we go. So now we're on to ready. Alright, cool. So I'm going to come around. As I'm coming around, I'm looking for where I just took off from. Map. Cockpit. Pull back on the throttle a little bit. Map. Cockpit. Maybe not that much. Alright, I'm going to uncage. You see the U that just popped up right there, and it brought up the Maverick secret. So now we're searching, okay? Flaps down. What the fuck is this fucking... Map. what I thought. Cockpit. Oh, there it is. Okay, cool. Alright. So we're going to work on the Mavericks now, right? Sensor select forward. Right. Brings the box around the Mavericks right there for you, okay? Let's see. So I'm going to use my TDC slews, and you see the box that pops up on the screen. I'm trying to track something on the screen right now. There's a lot of instructional videos that are obviously a hell of a lot better than I am at this, but I know there's a truck in that area, so I'm going to put it, let's see. Oh, there it is. Okay, cool. After 1 second of moving, the Maverick starts to track the ground. Right. So that's what the X you see flashing right there is. It's letting you know it's tracking the ground. Once you're within a certain space, you start hitting your you hit your TDC down when in range, and it'll lock. You'll have to do your slews for that. Not for fucking the 15. I'll up a 15 and show you how fucking easy it is. It's like ridiculous. Okay, there we go. You see how the crosshairs closed in narrow? It means it locked it. Alright? Fox 1. We'll go power up, trim this bird out. The Harrier is extremely light, so when you let one off the rail, it goes sideways. F6 is now tracking this Maverick. Sorry, that was loud. It's now tracking this Maverick. It's going to follow it all the way in. Boom! Cockpit. Ah. Alright, cool. I'm going to work on getting rid of this next Maverick real quick. Outside. Outside. Sorry, I had to yell. Alright, well, I forgot I put it on rearm or infinite weapons, so it came back up. So we don't have to worry about it. Harrier landing. I prefer the more in-depth planes, obviously. So we're slowing down, go back to menu. Speed brake. Flaps down, flaps down. Flaps down. Destola. Alright, I'm going to start watching my speed. I want to drop it to about 150. Circle around. I'm going to land right there on that parking area next to the helicopter. Gear down. Landing gear.
Landing gear. Landing gear.
Alright, so the Harrier only has about 2 minutes of water in it for hover, so you have to do this quickly. Alright, so you start working your nozzles to slow down. Water down. Water on. Water down. I can't remember what my command was for that. It's now cooling the thrusters. Right? Bit of a rough landing, but it works. Still hard. Still learning how to do that. And brakes on. And that's the Harrier. Now, that's one of the more complex ones. It's like a medium complex. I'm going to show you the 15 and how easy this is, alright? So I'm going to quit. Mission editor. The F-15C. Make sure I'm not loaded out with anything fucking crazy. No, I'm not. Alright, cool. Actually, you know what?
That's really cool, man. I didn't want to say anything because of the massive delay.
So you really like it? Like, legitimately?
It was cool. I appreciate the game. I wish there was more into it
What do you
and it
mean
wasn't
more?
so expensive.
What do you mean more into it?
Well, like there are more players and there's, I don't know. I'm still wishing for a game that for what we had before.
Okay, well,
Because even with IL2, it's still kind of.
multiplayer. Look at the number.
And
Look at the numbers,
I'll
though.
buy the F-15
No, hold
once
on.
this is downloaded and all
Hold
that.
on. I'm gonna show you. You're gonna hear this 2 or 3 times. I'm sorry. Look, you're gonna hear, like, look at the multiplayer that I brought up and the amount of people that are on.
Well, there's hundreds of players on IL2 as well, but none of them are like the big numbers. And speaking frankly, man, I don't want to play with no icons.
You don't want to play with icons?
Without icons,
There's
and they
servers
have
that
to be of a certain quality.
you don't, honestly, you don't need icons. Hold on a second. Hold on.